Recently, D-Marble released a video in which he did a laser test across a large distance of about 10 miles. Now, when it comes to flat earthers, I don't usually put much credence in what they say, but I've got to admit I do have more respect for a flat earther that's actually getting out there and doing experiments. Unfortunately, D-Marble got this one wrong. There were some errors, and they were totally misinterpreting the results they were getting and ignoring the obvious fact that the laser test proved that the Earth is round. And I'm going to explain why I say that and offer some suggestions to correct the problem. I'd like them to do the test again and do it correctly, and then you will get a result that proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that we live on a ball. First of all, they needed to know their precise height above the water on the lake. Now, judging by this footage, when asked what Mark's elevation was, and he said about 7 feet, I'm looking at that thinking, I don't think so. That's quite a bit higher than 7 feet. His very precise measuring tool was to stand underneath the tripod and put his hand up in the air. Now, I'm 6 feet tall. If I stretch my arm out like that, I can reach about 9 foot. So whilst that's only 2 foot, it's important when doing experiments to get the numbers right. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it was higher than 9 foot. It's possibly 10 or 11 feet. I don't really know, but that's not important. The other thing to consider is the laser needs to be dead level, not pointing down or not pointing up or anything like that. It needs to be absolutely level before it's switched on and shone across the lake. And once it's level, you need to be able to correctly interpret what you're seeing at the other end. That's where D-Marble came unstuck. He wasn't correctly interpreting what he was seeing. No glober is saying that you shouldn't be able to see the light at all, because there are many reasons why you would be able to see the light. The light dispersion, the refraction, all those sorts of things will have an effect. But there is a clear shot of the intensity of the laser pointing way up over D-Marble's head, and that tells me that we live on a ball. Now, I'm going to show you a few images here and maybe play a little bit of D-Marble's video, and I'll point out where they've gone wrong. Now, I can only assume that their intentions were good, and that they did take the time to make sure that the laser was level before they started. But here you can clearly see Mark or somebody mucking around with the laser and making it point down, which was not correct. It's going to give you incorrect results immediately. So that was their first mistake, not making sure that the laser was absolutely level. Now, on a flat Earth, if the laser was level, you would expect that shining the laser across the lake, that the intensity of the beam would focus on a specific location at the receiving end. Clearly, in this image here, which is a still that I captured from the original video, you can see that the laser is pointing upwards. Now, that's exactly what you would expect to see if we were on a globe Earth. Not a flat Earth. It is going way over D-Marble's head. The fact he can still see the laser doesn't change anything, but the direction of the beam makes all the difference in the world. That's another reason why you simply got this one wrong.
Kind of pointing downward toward my position. Then that's cool.
Now, D-Marble points out that the laser is pointing down and then says, that's cool. Well, it's not cool. It's wrong. If you don't perform the experiment correctly using the right parameters, you won't get a correct result. The results that you've gotten are totally wrong. So you really need to start this one again. Not only is it wrong, but you've misinterpreted what you've seen. You seem to think that this is checkmate, game over for the globe Earth, when it's actually very supportive of a globe Earth, and really it's checkmate, game over for flat Earth. Here is my feeble attempt at a still image to demonstrate where they've gone wrong. As you can see, on the left is Mark, and on the right is D Marble. Now, by pointing the laser down, you're bringing the focal point down, which makes it far more visible and far more misleading at the other end. It's difficult for me to show the curve here because it's only over 10 miles, but if we assume that 1000 pixels is the 10 miles, or 100 pixels is 1 mile, you can see that there's very, very little drop there at all. I mean, 30 feet, 25 feet, 22 feet, whatever it is, it's not a great deal. It's 0.005%. So this is all a bit misleading to suggest that you wouldn't be able to see the laser at all, particularly if you're pointing down towards your target. Now, if you look in this image, you will see if the laser were pointed level, the focal point at the receiving end, where D Marble is, would be right above his head, which is what you would expect to see on a globe Earth, not a flat Earth. So just to quickly go over where they've gone wrong, in my opinion, is first of all, they did not level the laser. Pointing the laser down gave incorrect results. Second, laser elevation is obviously incorrect. If that was 7 to 8 feet, then Mark is about 2 feet tall, and D Marble must be even shorter. Elevators would smell very funny to them. They did not measure the focal point of the laser at the receiver's end. The way this was done, there is no reason to think the laser would not be seen. Focal point was above D Marble's head, proving that there's a curve. And you could see that in one of the previous images where the laser was pointing upwards. The way to fix this experiment is really easy. First, make certain the laser is level during the test. Second, establish exact elevation above the water level. Third, use a board at the receiving location to find the focal point. Do this at night and adjust your camera aperture and speed manually to find the brightest spot. Then measure the distance from the water level to the brightest spot. That way you will find that the laser is way above your head, and you've proven that there is curve and that the lake isn't flat as you say it is. So do it again. Do what you did before. Measure the distances between the two of you, one on the left hand side, one on the right hand side, and then level the laser and shine it. Do it at night so that it's much easier to see the hot spot on the measuring board. But get yourself a 30-foot board or a 40-foot board, even if it's made up of a couple of folding pieces. Whatever you've got to do to prove to yourself the Earth is round. Modify your camera settings, take a photo of the board, and see where the laser is actually pointing. The fact that you can see light from 10 miles away doesn't prove anything at all. It just proves you don't know what you're doing. So if you do this right, you will get a result, and it will show you that the Earth is a globe and that all this time you've been wrong. Thank you. Goodbye.
surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes!